Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in today because we're doing something I find absolutely fascinating. We're going to deconstruct a highly specific, emotional scene from a microscript. If you've ever watched a film and wondered, how do master storytellers make me feel so much in the literal blink of an eye? Well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to tear this cinematic morning script all the way down to the studs to see exactly how its visual and audio blueprint is constructed.
And when I say the blink of an eye, I mean 8 seconds. That is the entire duration of the script we're working with here. Just 8 to 10 seconds tops. Just think about that for a second. When your whole narrative has to unfold in under a tenth of a minute, every single detail, every pixel, every sound wave, every ray of light, it has to be perfectly calibrated. There is zero room for fluff. In a microscript like this, precision isn't just a nice to have, it's the entire ballgame.
So that leads us right to the big question. How do you actually build a cinematic world in just 8 seconds? I want you to mentally step into the director's chair with me right now. You've got this tiny, fleeting sliver of time to establish a setting, introduce your character, show some action, and most importantly, evoke a real feeling from your audience. You obviously can't rely on long dialogue or lingering exposition. You have to use the pure mechanics of cinema to do all that heavy lifting for you. All right, first up on our agenda, anatomy of a scene, the blueprint. Let's look at the foundational structure of this script.
Before anyone moves or speaks, the script dictates exactly how this world looks. We are talking about an ultra-realistic 4K cinematic style, and it specifically demands a shallow depth of field. Now, if you're a camera nerd, you know this is a photographic technique that keeps your main subject in razor-sharp focus while the background gets beautifully blurred out. This isn't just an aesthetic choice, it forces the viewer's attention. In an 8-second window, you literally cannot afford for your viewer's eyes to wander around the room. You have to grab their gaze and hold it captive right out of the gate.
So that's the baseline look. Next up, the timeline of action. Let's map out exactly how this narrative unfolds.
Here is the exact breakdown, second by precious second. From 0 to 2 seconds, we open on a tight close-up of a bedside digital alarm clock. It reads 6 a.m., buzzing softly. Then, from 2 to 5 seconds, the scene shifts to a cozy bedroom. A 6-year-old girl is sleeping peacefully under a soft blanket. Her eyes open, she stretches naturally, rubs her eyes, and smiles. And finally, from 5 to 8 seconds, she sits right up in bed absolutely bathed in warm sunlight, smiling cheerfully. Notice the snappy pacing here. It's super fast, but we still get a distinct beginning, middle, and end, all beautifully compressed.
And look at the incredible contrast between where we start and where we finish. In those opening 0 to 2 seconds, we're entirely focused on this cold, inanimate object, the glowing numbers of a digital alarm clock. But then, by the time we hit the final seconds, that focus is completely transformed to the living, cheerful face of a young girl. The script brilliantly moves us from this mechanical, almost sterile starting point directly into warm, human emotion. It's like a tiny emotional journey in under 10 seconds.
To really cap off that transition into human warmth, we get the script's one and only piece of dialogue, "Good morning." As the girl sits up, she delivers this joyful phrase and gives a happy little wave. Think about how much heavy lifting those two words are actually doing. Paired with that natural smile, it instantly establishes her innocent, joyful personality. We learn everything we could possibly need to know about her mood and the tone of the morning in a fraction of a second.
Moving right along to directing the camera, because it isn't just about what is happening, it's about how the camera physically guides us.
The script maps out this incredibly smooth, purposeful progression. Step 1, a tight close-up on those glowing alarm clock numbers. We're completely isolated. Step 2, a slow pan. We're physically moving across the cozy bedroom, discovering the space until we find the sleeping girl. And step 3, a medium close-up, perfectly framing her as she sits up. The camera is quite literally walking the audience by the hand through the narrative flow, taking us from isolation to discovery right into emotional connection.
And to make sure that movement feels exactly right, the script calls out another crucial number, 24, as in 24 frames per second. If you know film, you know this specific frame rate is the gold standard for achieving that smooth, photorealistic cinematic motion. It prevents the scene from looking, like a cheap soap opera or a shaky home video. It gives the imagery a polished, almost dreamlike quality that totally elevates that ultra-realistic 4K resolution.
Next up, we have lighting and audio design. This is where we breathe actual life and atmosphere into our blueprint.
Take a look at how these sensory elements get layered together. For lighting, the specs call for a soft golden sunrise and natural window light. The narrative effect of that? warm sunlight filtering through sheer curtains, eventually illuminating the girl's face. Now layer on the audio, a gentle alarm, the soft sound of birds chirping outside, and some light ambient morning music. Together, this builds an incredibly natural, inviting, and peaceful acoustic space. It's a fully immersive multisensory experience designed to literally make you feel the warmth of that room.
Which brings us to our final piece, building the perfect mood. Let's bring all these technical and sensory elements together to see the end goal.
Because ultimately, the shallow depth of field, the 24 frames per second, the golden lighting, they're all just tools serving one singular master, and that is the mood. The script dictates the exact emotional parameters we need to hit. It must feel cozy, it must feel wholesome, peaceful, and joyful. And to sell all of that, it heavily relies on highly detailed, natural facial expressions. When you perfectly synthesize the soft lighting, the smooth camera pan, the gentle birdsong, and that cheerful good morning, you aren't just showing the audience a morning, you are making them feel the absolute joy of a wholesome sunrise.
And honestly, that is the incredible power of a highly structured microscript. It proves you don't need a 2-hour runtime to build a world. Sometimes you literally only need 8 perfectly crafted seconds. So I want to leave you with this final thought today. Knowing how meticulously you have to layer lighting, camera movement, and audio to build just a few seconds of emotion, what cinematic moment will you script next? Take these blueprinting techniques we've explored in this explainer and try applying them to your own stories and projects. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Keep learning, keep creating, and I'll catch you next time.